What's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg, and this is another Chance Encounter. Hey, what's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg. I'm a commercial real estate guy. I'm from the internet. Power lines that are just kind of close. What's up again? This is Dan Fredenberg. I'm joined today with Kevin. Is it Leonce? How you pronounce it? Leonce? How did I do?
Leonce.
Leonce. Okay,
Leonce.
cool. And so I think one of the keys of success has to be being able to introduce yourself effectively. So can you please introduce yourself for the audience, please, Kevin?
Okay, so I'm Kevin Leonce. I am from Trinidad and Tobago. I am an apartment investor or aspiring apartment investor, and I am looking in the US market, specifically Georgia.
Mhm.
So I am an accountant by profession, and I try to bring my analytical skills to most of these deals.
All right, cool. So that's as a co-GP situation, right?
Yes,
All
as a
right.
coach. Yeah.
Excellent, excellent. So, in these interviews, to keep them really, really short and sweet, I've actually got one with an attorney that I'm going to be releasing. We were able to finish that segment in 7.5 minutes. It was just bonkers, just laser focused. But
Right.
first thing I do is I talk about your motivation to have a part of an apartment complex deal. So I'll hit the button, I'll scoot over here. And so the way that it starts is, well, where this came from is I realized that there are 6 different roles in an apartment complex deal, and we'll get to them in a minute. But the problem is, beginners, they don't usually know what part they'll contribute. You already mentioned yours, which is part of operations because of your financial background, but I've narrowed down the motivations to have a piece of an apartment complex down to 5. The first one is that they want to preserve their purchasing power from inflation. So that's those are the big guys. Okay, they have a lot of capital to work with, and they're just concerned that inflation is going to erode it away. The next one is my reason, which is that I want to trade my time for wealth instead of income. And I'm a high earner because of my tech background. And if I take that cash from tech and then start to invest it, I've got this intermediate step of paying tax on it, and I'm going, well, why don't I just become a co-GP and bring my different skills to the table so that I'm getting paid back in the form of wealth. The next reason that people have is to fast track their retirement. So they've already, worked for a certain number of years, and they decide to get educated and then take an active role in their overall wealth. The next one, it's the super ambitious people who, they just have to have like a skyscraper with their name on it, or just, basically they want to buy their entire hometown. Maybe there's somebody back there who they got a chip on their shoulder or something. But at least as a co-GP situation, the nice thing about having that level of ambitious people is that that they'll work hard to actually keep going when a lot of people would get comfortable and stop. And the last reason is they have some sort of irrational need to help the residents, the tenants of the buildings. In other words, maybe they have some sort of social group that they want to help, and that is more important than squeezing out every single cent of profits that they can. Or more specifically, I mean, they'd be attracted to certain areas that some people might not be as interested in. So out of those different motivations, which ones resonate with you? Which ones sound like what you're looking for, or who?
So it's a kind of combination, I would say. So it's a bit of me trying to work towards building a sort of legacy type activity, as well as sort of helping the tenants themselves to improve their lives through the type of properties that we offer them. So I guess it crosses two of your you know
Motivation.
categories. Yeah.
Right. Which I was struggling to remember what I called them for a second there too. I'm like, they're things and they do stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And I guess part of that is probably the same as me, which is you recognize that there are things that real estate investors know that the average person just simply doesn't understand. Like if you're trying to build a balance sheet, it's like having this over here, it is a lot more beneficial than the risk there. And just being able to make that comparison. So you agree with that there are things that some people, you could live your entire life and never know that you're allocating your labor and your money, your wealth, your income improperly.
Yeah, because I think that is a lot to do with what they know. So a lot of people are taught a specific way, whether it's how they brought up, the culture that they came from, and they believe that to be everything. There's nothing outside of that. But when you start to expand your mind and expand your knowledge, whether it be through reading, traveling, or connecting with others, you recognize that there are a multitude of different ways to achieve the same thing. So then you start coming out of those constructs that you've known and start recognizing, well, okay, I can do this also, and I can do that also. So I think it has a lot to do with, their mindset and what they believe in and how they were brought up, I guess.
Right. And that's exactly what I'm getting at. Like, I didn't learn about the idea of good debt until I was in my early 20s. And what I mean by good debt, it means like if you can borrow it for this amount, but you can make this amount on it. So basically, you got a spread on the debt. Then the debt makes lots of sense.
Right.
But if you're raised to say it's like, oh no, debt's bad, then you're not going to be able to leverage as much. But the other thing that's been going through my head recently is that there's no difference between making six figures per year at one point and then getting down to zero, compared to only getting to like 40K per year and then getting to zero. Zero is still the same. So the fear of the numbers, I think, maybe that is too much. That's just what I've been thinking about a lot. Do you have anything to
Yeah.
add?
Yeah, I guess that fear may be an issue. It's also just lack of knowing, because some people, like you say, six figures, they may be making six figures, but in reality, it's still the same as though they were making four or five, because of, again, their mentality and how they see things and approach things. And then also you mentioned about good debt and bad debt, but to take it a step further, it's also about the velocity of money, because yes, you could get good debt, but I mean, good debt just making you a little bit at a time. But if it is you were to get that, put it to work, get the rewards from it, then put it back in at a quicker turnover rate, then you'll make a lot more than just having one investment over, let's say, a 5 to 10 year term, when you could do it at a shorter, like 6 months. Every 6 months you will get a lot more from it. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's excellent. I'm really glad that you shared that for our audience. And the next part for them, especially the ones that are more on the beginner side, is I've got the 6 different roles in an apartment complex deal on this die. So it helps you remember how many pieces there are. It also helps people communicate very quickly how they would be part of an apartment complex deal or any commercial deal for that matter. So I usually start by talking about repositioners because that's what I am. A repositioner ultimately is responsible for acquisitions in the team. They're looking for properties that make the most sense, especially for their own team. And so when what they're looking for, of course, because real estate is such a mature industry, in general, if you could just pick up a property and raise the rent, it's like, well, why doesn't the current owner raise the rent? So chances are you have to do something for the repositioning to actually make sense, as opposed to just whoever's owning it right now. So the easiest way to make sure that you can make more money with the exact same property is to fix it up by talking to a contractor. So you get somebody to fix it up and put in, like, for example, marble countertops or just whatever is actually able to get a decent ROI on the investment and the fix up. So that way you get higher rents. But if you're a repositioner like me from the internet, I know that you're doing some remote stuff right now, right, Kevin? Yeah.
Yes, so I
Yeah.
am investing remotely. Yeah.
Right. So there you go. So since we are remote based, that means we need to have operations teams. Okay. So I got the toilet with the Benjamins going down it there. That maybe it'll get in focus one of these days. But yeah. So when the toilet gets clogged, then somebody in operations has to do the maintenance and all that kind of stuff. But the other part of operations is counting the Benjamins and making sure that not as many Benjamins go down that toilet.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's part of the role that you're up to right there in operations. But the wisdom of a good repositioner is knowing that you don't let the maintenance people do the actual capital expenditure improvements. So like building patios and things like that. But the other problem of being an internet based, remote based investor is that you're going to have a local, because you're not going to want to fly down there every time there's a problem. And so somebody, the boots on the ground, should be able to check in and oversee the operations, making sure that they're not just spoofing reports or whatever, and also that the contractors are actually getting the job done in a timely manner and they're not cutting too many corners. So most people would automatically think that that is an apartment complex deal, but of course you have to borrow some money from somebody, and that's the bank, the financier. So you got all those things, you take it to the financier, you say, hey, I got a deal, now give me a bunch of money so I can buy the building. And they'll say, okay, let me see the deal. Okay, you're going to do this fixing up. Okay, this guy's going to take care of that. And okay, the operations. Okay, so, but who's sponsoring the loan? And the who and okay, so you need a sponsor. You have to have somebody who already owns a similar asset and has a net worth of at least the value of the loan. So you have to have an insider in order to get the loan and do the deal. So those are the 6 sides. I already mentioned your part in operations. Is that what you'd say is your exclusive role on this, or would you be like 20% on another role if you're co-GPing? Or
Yeah, for now, I believe that will be predominantly what I will be doing. I do have some experience because those 6 roles or functions, you have to understand that pretty much that is sort of the shell of the system that you will be developing and tweaking and working on to have an efficient and successful apartment operation. So yeah, that is predominantly the role. And eventually, as I go on, I will probably take on different roles just to have an understanding of what's supposed to take place.
Right. And my background, of course, is in the digital side of things, automating systems. And so that's something that is on my mind when it comes to this sort of investment. It's there are a lot more parts to operations than meets the eye. And but I also think that as a remote-based repositioner, we definitely have to understand the entire cube. But as somebody who like my experience is all in scaling, I've recently been uh, telling as many people as I can the importance of becoming competent at something before you scale it or outsource it. Just because, you know, if you don't know what you're doing and you're just getting somebody to copy your cluelessness, then you'll have double the cluelessness rather than actual efficacy, I suppose. So,
Yeah,
mhm.
for sure. That is true. Um, the challenge with that may be time, because some assets you may need to get the third party involved sooner than you think. So it's something that you have to weigh the pros and cons with. So for example, if it is you don't really have the time to sit down and learn it, you could get the third party, but you're learning along with the third party, the outsourcer. So yeah, agree with that.
Right, right. That makes lots of sense. So my next question then is because you know, like because I'm remote based again, you know, that was the appeal for me of multifamily. It's the size of the deal is big enough that you actually can get other third parties involved and still remain profitable or operating efficiently at least. So that's why, you know, I tend to focus on the bigger apartment complex deals. But I don't like I call them big. I don't know if that what that compares to you, but your buy box, you focus on Georgia, but what sort of unit count or features can you say about the properties that you really want to focus on?
So primarily I look in like secondary markets and 20 to 80 unit properties, size properties, looking for some value add opportunities in each of these properties, and possibly like a C plus, B minus class asset, so kind of like that's what I'm looking for.
Okay, good stuff. And the next one, without enticing the I words, a certain type of financier, which is, you know, that's not okay with the SEC. Can you describe for me the person in real estate that you'd be able to help more than anybody else? So like maybe it's like a repositioner or something like that, or contractors who you know, always know who's having trouble in their operations, or who's the perfect person to reach out to you.
So I guess who I can help primarily, or any, like, so the asset manager, maybe, you know, asset manager, property manager, because of my ability to read what is given in the numbers. I'm able to see certain things happening with the property and give some sort of explanation as to why it's happening. And if I'm not able to, then maybe something is awry with what is taking place here. Why is this number coming in here? So I guess overall, just helping the asset managers see what is taking place with their property, and if it is that something is right or wrong, if things change over a 1 month, drastically change over a 1 month period, then you know that either you had something planned, or there was some unforeseen event, and hopefully not the third, which is somebody is doing something wrong with your property.
Right. Sticky fingers or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah. That's good. Okay, and we met through some meetups and through LinkedIn. What's the best way to get in touch with you? Is it LinkedIn or a
Yeah,
website or something?
you can get in touch with me through LinkedIn or on Instagram at Leonce9. One of those two ways will be good.
Awesome. So thank you very much for coming in here today. That's the chance encounter format, finding out who the person is, what their motivation is, and what the role they can have in a co-GP deal or similar structure. But thanks again for coming out here, the man from Trinidad, Kevin Leonce. All right,
Thank you.
thanks.
Yes.
All right.
Right.